Hi everyone. This video is the second part of the previously uploaded video, that is William Shakespeare part 1, where we were discussing about the questions that came from William Shakespeare for NTA NET exams. So if any one of you haven't gone through that video, please we suggest you to go through it because that's the first part. And in this video we will be discussing the remaining questions that were asked from William Shakespeare for NTA NET English exams. Okay, so here is the question. So once again I am reminding you that when you study William Shakespeare for NTA NET exam, you have to study his background details, and then you have to look at the important plays, and from the plays you have to have a look on the plot line, the important soliloquies, dialogues, quotes given by the different characters, the characteristics of the different Shakespearean characters, and then also have a look on the Shakespearean sonnets. So we were discussing about how to study William Shakespeare and what to study from William Shakespeare. So if anyone of you haven't gone through the first part, please have a look, because in that video I have suggested the different plays that you have to look of William Shakespeare and also the different questions that were asked for September 2020. And let's continue with this video. So in June 2019, there was a question: which one of the following correctly describes the meaning of Macbeth's word, "Life is but a walking shadow"? A similar question was asked for the June 2020 question, where you have to identify what does the utterance "to be" or "know to be" mean. Okay, so here you can find that now for the last two exams you can find two such questions where you are asked to identify the meaning of the first line of the soliloquy of William Shakespeare. Okay, so here June 2019, this is the question: life is but a walking shadow. And here one more important thing that you have to remember is that life is but a walking shadow is a very famous line of the most famous soliloquy in Macbeth, that is tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. Okay, and you can find other questions from the same soliloquy. And so when you are preparing for NTA NET exam, and that too from William Shakespeare, while you are dealing with the different plays written by Shakespeare, look at the important soliloquies and place them in their context, try to understand them, try to understand even the meaning of the particular soliloquies, because tomorrow and tomorrow, I think there might be at least 3 to 4 questions that were asked for the last two exams from this particular soliloquies. So life is just life, life is just life, it is devoid of light. Life is just devoid of substance, life is just devoid of spirit, life is just devoid of stability. So these are the 4 options. So this is life is but a walking shadow. So these words are uttered by Macbeth after he hears Lady Macbeth's death in Act 5, Scene 5. So technically this is the last act where we the audience along with King Macbeth, everyone came to know that Lady Macbeth has committed suicide. She jumped off the balcony, and here this news has reached Macbeth. So Macbeth is technically mourning, but at the same time he cannot express his grief. Okay, so here he is there waiting for his final battle, and he very much knows that there is a chance for him to be failed, and therefore he wants to mourn at the death of Lady Macbeth, but he cannot. Okay, and here you can find that he actually wants Lady Macbeth to die some days before, where he could actually cry for her. That was the love that Macbeth had for Lady Macbeth. Macbeth, who was a gentleman, completely turned to a murderer who got himself rich in greed and power, etc., just because he listened to the words of Lady Macbeth. So that was his love to her. Okay, and here when he gets to know that Lady Macbeth, he is in a situation where he cannot mourn for her. Okay, he is frozen to the level that he cannot mourn, and this is the occasion where he feels that life is really stupid. Okay, life is like a stupid tale told by an idiot. There is only sound and fury. You have got no meaning in your life. So here audience realizes how completely his wife's passing and the ruin of his power have undone Macbeth. So Macbeth is no longer a soul. He is just a physical presence who wants to fight. Okay, who wants to fight because he never wants to commit suicide. So that is the deteriorating level of Macbeth that you can find. And his speech insists that there is no meaning or purpose in life. Okay, so the answer is option 2, that is life is just devoid of substance. Substance means meaning. So in the entire soliloquy he is telling that life is so stupid, it's like a candle. Okay, it can move out, it can be closed at any time, and it has got no meaning. It is just like a tale told by an idiot. It's just sound and fury. You have got no meaning within it. And now coming to the next question, in June 2019 there was this question: in which play other than Julius Caesar has Shakespeare depicted the Romans better than the Roman writers themselves have done? Okay, this question has got a little confusing, but the only thing that you have to know in order to answer this question is the setting of these plays. Okay, while we discussed this in the previous video, I have already mentioned that when you look at the particular play, the first thing that you have to look is the background details. Okay, from where the play was influenced, what is the setting of the play, and then you have to look at the plot. So this question, it comes from the background details of a play, and you can answer this question if you know the correct background details of these 4 plays. So we know Julius Caesar, it is based on a Roman general, and therefore it's a Roman play. And about Troilus and Cressida, it happens, it is influenced by Homer's Troilus and Cressida. So we know that it happens at Troy. It happens during the Trojan War, and it happens at Troy. So since it is not a Roman setting, we cannot call it as a Roman play. Then comes Coriolanus. Coriolanus is again another play that is set in Rome, and Coriolanus is the name given to a general in Rome. And then Romeo and Juliet, we know it happens in Venice, Italy, and Two Gentlemen of Verona, again it happens in Milan. So the only play that happens in Rome in the options are Coriolanus. Okay, so while one more thing I want to tell you is that while you are studying William Shakespeare, you have to categorize the Shakespearean plays, like which among the following are Roman plays, which among the following are the great tragedies of William Shakespeare, which among the which are the tragicomic plays of Shakespeare, then which are the problem plays of Shakespeare. So you have to categorize all the Shakespearean plays, and that would really give you an idea to answer such questions. So these are the Roman plays of Shakespeare. We cannot say that these are completely true, because there were many questions, many debates about it, but still all these plays has got a Roman background: Antony and Cleopatra, Coriolanus, Julius Caesar, and Titus Andronicus. Okay. So while you are dealing with your topic, while you are dealing with William Shakespeare, then you have to categorize his plays into different categories that would easily help you to answer such questions. So the answer is option 2, that is Coriolanus. So to the 2 famed plays of William Shakespeare that actually gives him the fame that he has portrayed Rome and the background of Rome perfectly than any other Roman writers is 2 plays, that is Julius Caesar and Coriolanus. Moving on to the next play that has happened, that was asked in June 2019. So again, this is a dialogue. Okay, this is a dialogue where you have to identify who this is addressed to. Who of the following are being talked about in the following lines? So in the lines you can find that a person is speaking about someone, and you have to identify this someone. You seem to misunderstand me by each at once her choppy finger laying upon her skinny lips. You should be women, and yet your beard forbids me to interrupt that you are so. Okay, so this is the question, that is a person, he upon seeing someone, he says that he cannot understand what are they, he cannot understand them physically. Okay, so he says that you appear to be female, you appear to be a girl, you appear to be a woman, but your beard is making me confused. Okay, so you have to identify who it is referred to. So this happens in Macbeth Act 1 Scene 3. Okay, Macbeth, Act 1, Scene 3, and it is spoken by Banquo. When the three witches addresses Macbeth and Banquo at the first, at the first act, you can find that Banquo, he speaks to them like, who are you? How can we know about you? You appear to be women, but your beard is basically making me confused. And here you can find that they are highly intermediated by the physical appearance of the witches, and they are confused. Okay, so this is the background of the scene. So these are the options: the plebeians in Coriolanus, the sisters in King Lear, the witches in Macbeth, and the players in Hamlet. So the correct answer is the witches in Macbeth. So such questions can also appear for NET exam, that where you would be given a dialogue and you have to understand the context in which that dialogue is spoken. Okay, if you want to answer that, you have to have a clear-cut idea about the plot and what happens throughout the plot. So the answer is option 3, the witches in Macbeth. Now moving on to the next question. In June 2019, there was this question: who speaks the following lines and to whom? Oh, look upon me, sir, and hold your hands in benediction over me. No, sir, you must not kneel. Okay, so here you can find that this is actually a line that means, okay, look upon your sir. So someone is kneeling before someone, and he or she wants the blessing of the other one, and the other one is also at a very state of remorse, and the receiving one doesn't want the other one to kneel. Okay, and this is technically a very famous dialogue. Okay, and you have to identify the addressee and the direction of this this dialogue: Ken to Lear, Cordelia to Lear, Goneril to Lear, and Regan to Kent. Okay, so here anyhow from the options you would get an idea that this dialogue appears in King Lear. And there are two ways in which you could answer. One is using your intellect. That means if you have studied King Lear, then you could easily answer it like Ken to Lear, Cordelia to Lear, Goneril to Lear, Regan to Lear. If you know the dialogue, then you can answer it. The second one is that if you know the play and the characters, but you don't know the dialogue, you can guess the answer. Okay, because the dialogue here, it means it shows someone's humbleness. Okay, so because here someone is telling me, I want your blessings and you should not kneel before me. Okay, so here we have got two options. One is Kent and the other one is Cordelia, because here you can find that Goneril and Regan, they are the antagonist of the play, and they are not in a position to utter such magnificent words. Okay, so we have got two options: Ken to Lear and Cordelia to Lear. So if you know the characteristics of these characters, you could skip the rest of the two options and you could answer from the remaining option. And if you know the play closely, you could also identify the speaker. So technically the speaker is Cordelia. So here it happens in Act 4, Scene 7, and just before this scene you could find that King Lear, he completely becomes mad after getting abandoned by everything that he loved, and he finally reaches at the hands of Cordelia and Ken. Cordelia and Ken nurses him, takes him to the doctor, and his madness suddenly passes away, and he feels extremely regret and remorse in believing his two daughters and not Cordelia, and therefore he is technically crying over what has happened to him, and Cordelia kneels before him and tells him that I want your blessings and you should not kneel. And for this, Lear replies to her that are you mocking me? Like, I am not in a situation where I could bless you. You are far much better than me. So this is where it happens, and this scene, this dialogue, it's actually very famous because after so much, because Cordelia, she has been thrown away, she was not given anything by King Lear, she was completely abandoned by her family and her father. But when she sees her father in a mad state, she suddenly nurses him, and all she wants is his blessing. So that actually shows how much love that Cordelia has for King Lear, and that is what makes this scene famous and the dialogue also famous. So as I said earlier, while you are preparing for NET exam from William Shakespeare, you have to first identify the important scenes, the important soliloquies, dialogues, the names of the important scenes of these particular plays. So the answer is option 2, that is Cordelia to King Lear. In June 2019, there was this question: who says the following lines and to who? If it be ought toward the general good, set honor in one eye and death in the other, and I will look on both indifferently. If it be ought toward the general good, set honor in one eye and death the other, and I will look on both indifferently. And again you have to identify the speaker. Octavius to Antony, Hamlet to Claudius, Brutus to Cassius, and Casca to Calpurnia. So these are our options, and the right answer is that this scene, it happens in Act 1 Scene 2, where Julius Caesar he comes after winning the battle, and he is welcomed in a grand style by the Romans, and Brutus was technically getting a little irritated by how much dedicated the citizens are towards Julius Caesar, because that would actually makes Julius Caesar a tyrant, and this irritation is seen by Cassius, and Cassius is asking him, don't you like Caesar being crowned? So this is technically the answer. This is technically the answer, because he knows that Cassius is there to ask him for a favor. So he is basically assuring Cassius that if you are here to ask me any favor, and if that would serve as a good purpose to the Romans, then I would very well do it, okay, because the honor is what I prefer the most, okay, and that is what he says. Let the gods give me good luck only as long as I love honor more than I fear death, because he says that if honor and death comes to me in the same way, then I prefer both, okay. I could not prefer, I cannot be afraid of death and sacrifice my honor. I consider both of them equally. So this is the famous line, and you can find that after this scene, Cassius he convinces Brutus to assassinate Caesar. So the answer is option 3, Brutus to Cassius. Okay, and December 2018 there was another question about honor, and this is a great passage where you have to identify which character in the following Shakespeare dramas make this statement about honor. What is honor? A word. What is that word honor? Air, a trim reckoning. Who hath it? He that died on Wednesday. Doth he feel it? No. Doth he hear it? No. Is it insensible? Then, yeah, to the dead. But will it not live with the living? No. Why? Detraction will not suffer it. Therefore, I will none of it. Honor is a mere sketchion, and so ends my catechism. So here you can find that you have to identify which character makes this statement about honor. So once again look at this statement. So in the previous question we saw how Brutus considered honor to be equal to his death, etc. But here someone is considering honor to be like a thin air. It doesn't actually mean it. So here you have to identify the character who doesn't want to fight, okay, or who doesn't want honor, who actually prefers fleeing away from a war rather than preserving his honor. So anyhow we know the characters wouldn't be Hotspur and Hamlet, because both of them they consider the honor to be very great, and both of them are great warriors. And then we have Claudius. Okay, Claudius too has got no opportunity to mention such an event, and then the answer goes to Falstaff. So the answer is Falstaff in King Henry IV Part 1. So here you can find that Falstaff he delivers this speech against honor during the battle at Shrewsbury. So Falstaff he is a knight, he is technically supposed to fight in the battle, and he wanted to fight the battle, okay, he wanted to fight the battle in order to preserve the honor. So while at the battlefield he is having a second thought. So he is like, why should we care about honor? Do the dead man know that they have died for honor? No. So honor is nothing but like a thin air. It is just like any other words that you say. You don't have to die for honor. Okay, so the honor is useless if one is wounded, and at the same time it cannot set. If I lose an arm or if I lose a leg in the war, then this honor cannot set it right, and this honor it has got no skill in surgery if I get wounded. So technically this honor is useless. It is just like any other thin air. So this is technically a very ironic statement regarding honor, and this is given by Falstaff. And in December 2018, there was this question where you have to fill in the blanks of this famous soliloquy. So at the beginning of this video, I have mentioned this soliloquy. So tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, and if you want to fill in the blanks, you have to have an understanding about the play. So let's look. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, dash in this pretty pace from day to day. So tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, dash in this petty pace from day to day. So here that means here we know the context. Macbeth, he gets to know that his lady love, Lady Macbeth, is dead, and he wanted to mourn for her, but he is not in a position to mourn for her. So he wanted things to happen. He is technically at a realization that life is useless. Okay, so he is saying that tomorrow everything is getting dragged by. There is another day, there comes the another day, and every day is dragged out. Dash in this petty pace from day to day. So here one word would appear that actually would mean like what? Everything is being dragged out to the last syllable of the recorded time. Okay, so he is technically saying every day to the last syllable of the recorded time. So you have a final moment. Till that final moment, everything is being lagged, everything is being creeped, and all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out brief candle. So life is just like a candle. Once it is shut out, then everything is dark. Life is what a balking shadow, a poor player that dash and frets his hour upon the stage. Okay, so life is like a poor player who waits behind the stage in order to get performed. Okay, he wanted to perform, and he is always there waiting for something to happen, someone to call his name so that he could appear in the stage and finally perform, and then he is heard no more. Okay, and then this player, he is heard no more because life has got no meaning. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury. It is this phrase used by Faulkner in as the title of his novel, signifying nothing. So according to him, life has got no meaning. Okay, it is like a tale told by an idiot. It has got no meaning, it has got no process, it has got no growth or progress, but it is just like filled with sound and fury. So you have to understand, you have to fill the blank. So we know from the meaning I said, the words would be creep, syllable, and struts and herd. That is creeps in the petty pace from day to day to the last syllable, and that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. So in order to answer that question, you have to be extremely you have to know the play, you have to know the work extremely well. Okay, so that's all about William Shakespeare. So far in these two videos, we have discussed the 12 questions that were asked from William Shakespeare for NTA exams from December 2018 to June 2020. So I think with these 12 questions, you will get an idea about how to look at William Shakespeare from a net point of view. So that's all for this video. Thank you.